So, Steve, you use the term critical success factor, and if you're in pain, whatever kind of pain it is, what your key, perhaps the most important aspect that gets to the heart of a critical success factor for navigating pain, whether it's physical pain, like what I experience every day, which also means there's emotional pain. But if you've got an emotional pain, if you've got a lot of stress, if fear is overwhelming, whatever it might be in any aspect of your life, where I go to with folks is basically the P in plan to be your best stands for prepare. It's the first strategy. And the reason it's there is basically captured in the quote by Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote, to be prepared is half the victory. And at the heart of it, and this is that critical success factor, is to hone in on what is your identity. And two things. One, I've been hearing people who are dealing with perhaps some of the most significant challenges in their personal or professional lives, when they will come right out and say, I don't know who I am. Or when I'm talking to different groups, and I've seen this for over 20 years, and I ask, do you have a sense of what your identity is? And people will boldly, honestly, and that's the best when they're honest about it. They'll raise their hand and say, I really don't know who I am. I don't know the value that I bring. I've had clients even in the last few years say, because of they've been thrown out of work, for example, and their identity is so shaped by their work, what they do, their title, how much money they make, and so forth. They'll say two things. I don't know who I am, and I don't know what to do about it. So when we go into that prepare strategy, part of the focus is on saying, let's do some work on your identity, and make a list of these three qualities about yourself. What about you is good? Make a list. What about you is good? What about you is true? And again, then make a list. What about you is unchangeable? When things are changing and overwhelming and seemingly out of control, make a list of those things that aren't going to change. Anchor in that. And when we work through that process, two things happen. One, they actually do gain not only a sense of who they are, what their value is, but new energy comes from that. And they realize that, especially as the planning process continues, there is a connection between how you answer the question or how you finish the phrase, I am, and then I can. And so much goodness comes from that. I spend, especially being with all the pain that I deal with, I focus a lot on who I am and prepare for the next hour of challenges, the next day. And it's never, for example, if someone watching this is in pain, it's never too late. Because what you're doing is preparing for the very next breath, the very next moment, the very next day, the next week, the next month, and anchoring in the strength.